It's been so long that I have gone so long without Concrud that I think I'm just a big baby about it.
Okay.
And we're live with the Scallywags Sketchcast. I'm going to set the screen to look at just the lovely Obsidian Abnormal screen. A bit of a fun recovery episode this weekend as we get ready for the next year's season, and O is working on catching up on some pages in the buffer.
By the way, I don't know if this is a disclaimer or whatever it's called, but if you do not want to spoil the comic, do not watch this. Just listen to it. We won't discuss what's happening, but don't watch it. Just listen.
Yes, I believe you're actually working on Wednesday's comic, not even Mondays, but Wednesdays.
Yeah, this is Wednesdays. Mondays is done. So.
The future is approaching.
Yeah, so
yes.
To anyone that is watching, as you can see, I work on both pages at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah. So if you don't want it spoiled, don't look.
Mm-hmm. What's going on with cameraman here? Let me make sure. Give me just a moment. Okay, got that all fixed. Okay, so O and I were just kind of recapping. Let's see, this has been already a fairly interesting 2014 for us in that I have been complaining, and O has been complaining. So
I've been complaining?
I'm just guessing.
Well, actually, I did have computer problems today that, you know, in our case, is very, very... It's not a good thing when I have computer problems.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, all the complaining has been on your side.
Oh yeah, like I was mentioning earlier, I definitely caught. I went to a very lovely show in National Harbor, Maryland, which is, and you're familiar with the hotel. It's a fun place to hold a convention, and I didn't get a hotel room this time out.
Oh.
So I was actually commuting to this show back and forth each night. And it's a bit of a drive, and it sort of wore me out, kind of like a, wood against sandpaper there. And by the end of that whole weekend, I may have caught some actual con crud. Got my fever going and the cough and all that fun stuff.
For those listening that are not aware of what con crud is, because remember, our audience is not composed entirely of convention-going Americans. Would you like to explain to people what con crud is?
Well, con crud is anything really. It could be Legionnaire's disease. It could be the cold. It could be the plague. Any of those count if you caught it at a convention. And I'm usually like. I even brag about this, how I don't get con crud. I do a bazillion conventions, and I do everything I can to insulate me from con crud. I drink lots of water, and this is my whole theory, is that if I drink lots of water, I have to go pee on a regular basis. If I have to go pee on a regular basis, I have to wash my hands on a regular basis. And also, if I drink lots of water, it keeps my nasal cavity nice and moist, so I don't have boogers, so I don't pick boogers. Because dirty hands picking your nose is hands down the most common way to get sick. The other thing that I like to do is I like to get enough rest. Usually I say it's like 5 hours. Honestly, if you're driving back and forth to a show, it's 6 to 7 hours. And I make sure I eat 2 good meals a day. I actually did that at this show. I got good meals. You could eat good down in the National Harbor area, but I didn't sleep enough, and I didn't drink enough the first 2 days. I actually got dehydrated. So I think it's a mixture of those two that resulted in con crud just basically saying, you know what, bitch, we heard about you not getting sick last year. No, fuck that. You're going down.
And so you did.
Yeah, it did.
So you did. But I just heard from your very mouth that you probably were not that sick, that you were just complaining a lot.
No, I was that sick. I just was. I wasn't dead, but I was complaining a lot. I think it was. I can't remember what day was Tuesday, Thursday, or Wednesday at this point. They just melded together. I spent one of those days entirely in bed. I did lose. Here's a fun fact. I actually managed to, if I were going to have make a weight-based New Year's resolution, hit that. Yeah.
Well, that. By the way, do we have any questions? Do we have people? Or are we
We
alone?
have some viewers for our sudden. Oh, by the way, surprise! But I haven't checked the YouTube page itself yet. I'm gonna open that up real quick to
You
see.
have one job.
I know, but you get me talking, and I'm all like, oh, people want to listen to my lovely voice.
Nobody wants to listen
No,
to your
that's
lovely
not happening.
voice.
It does not appear that we have
Any questions?
questions
Okay.
yet. We
Well,
also haven't told the people, even though I'm assuming our fans so far are the ones that always have loyally checked out the Sketchcast while we're live, that if you have a question, feel free to ask it through the YouTube channel. I believe there's a way to do it also through G+, and I know there's a big giant button on the director thing for these hangouts that says, would you like to take questions and answers? And I said yes.
well,
So,
yeah, but knowing how to do that would involve you actually getting the hang of this, and we can't
yes,
have
well,
that.
we don't exactly like doing it too advanced here.
Yeah, then it might become successful, and
Mhm.
we might make
Oh
money
yes,
off of
actually,
it.
if you find our Hangouts on the Air link, and is there any way to actually link this page? Oh my gosh, edit post. Da, da, da. There's a big button there that just says ask a question, and I can bring up and I can ask ourselves a question if I wanted to. Oh, and I could even make an echo. That's good. Okay, so it makes sense if you can find us through the Google Plus link. The Scallywags Sketchcast Recovery episode, as I so happily titled it, because it's been a few weeks for us. We had people. I enjoy the fact that people were right away saying, "Hey, when's Sketchcast coming back? Is it coming back?" And the interest was there, so that made us happy. I don't know if it made
Definitely.
happy. Nothing
No,
I
yeah,
said.
yeah. Well,
Hmm?
I'm very difficult to please, yes, but
Yeah.
I was pleased that people wanted to, see and hear more of me, and well, probably not
Hmm.
you, but it's a
Yeah.
package deal.
Oh, obviously, yes.
Yeah.
I'm going to share this post with the public. Yes. And I'll say the public must know.
Okay.
And I actually just almost spelled the public must know, the public must know. So that's where I'm at mentally.
So,
Yes.
well, now that you bring up the subject of New Year's resolutions, not the stupid kind, not the lose
Not the
weight.
not
Yeah,
to lose 15 pounds. Not
yeah,
not that one.
yeah, no, not that one specifically. I mean, not those kind of resolutions, but uh, uh, interesting stuff that you want to do this year, and not like work stuff. Like publish a book, or stuff like that. But
We've done. Yeah.
like what do you want to do this year?
Like this is the year I finally punch a shark. Something like that. I don't really
Uh,
want to punch a shark this year, though. I got to be honest. The sharks and me, we've been cool. They haven't
well,
attacked in a while.
as long as it's only punching it and not.
What? Humping it?
Well, you can hump a shark if you want.
Are you worried about darn shark babies coming out and
No, no,
attacking
no.
you?
I'm good with those. It might be
Because
the
I
first
am.
baby in my life that I actually like.
I'm sorry, oh, I assure you that if I hump a shark, I'm using protection.
Well, that's sad that you're not gonna get shark syphilis.
Yeah, yeah.
But no, no, no. I mean, more like, for example, this year I plan to really kind of learn a new artistic skill. Basically, in what I do in my art, I want to take it a step further. I want to be better at what I do. So this year I'm gonna do some sort of either a course or learning program or whatever where I get better at what I do.
How is that any different than me saying write a book?
Because no. I mean, not like, for example, oh, we want to publish the comics book by this time or that, but something more like I want to, write a book. Not
You're talking about something new, something outside of what is our comfortable planned has to happen plan.
exactly. I mean, we're going to be working on the comic no matter what happens. So, that's just like the plans we have for the comic and stuff like that. But, you want to find enough time to sit down and finally write the great American novel.
Yeah.
It's what they say in the movies.
Everyone says that, and I have problems with that theory, but yes.
I think the main problem is that the great American novel was already written. So.
I think that the great American novel has been written, and we refuse to acknowledge that it was probably a comic.
Oh, I thought you were gonna go with Twilight, and I was gonna say like no,
I wouldn't even go that
no, not Twilight.
Okay, the English major.
Wait a minute. Is Twilight even American? Isn't she like Canadian or something?
No, she's like I know she's American, but I think God, I don't know. I was gonna guess Utah, but yeah.
Oh,
I know she's Mormon, and I think that she's American, but I don't really care. There is that.
Well, I don't know. Let's just assume she lives in Utah, and who cares?
I could argue some Steinbeck could possibly be a great American novel. I could argue some of the works of just Steinbeck. Just Steinbeck.
Only Stein.
Just Steinbeck and the goblin living in my throat still.
Okay. That's it. Wow.
So
that college money really paid off.
So I'm definitely going to try to not punch a shark this year.
Well, you do know that as long as you want to work with me, you can't hunt or eat any exotic animals. So
No, bullshit. I call bullshit on this. You said cats.
No, you can't hunt.
You said cats initially, and I was okay with that. I'm okay with no cats.
Then I'm extending it. You can't
all
hunt.
Exotic animals. Like, what are we defining as exotic again?
No, you just can't hunt.
Well, no, but the eat exotic animals part.
Well, you can eat normal stuff that people eat,
like octopus.
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of people eat octopus. Or, for example, if you go someday to India and they serve here in Colombia, a lot of people eat snake. So if you're here in Colombia one day and you go to some place where they serve you snake, I've never tried snake, by the way. And if you go to some place where they serve you snake and you're like, okay, I'm gonna try some snake, go ahead. That's okay.
Okay.
But you can't, for example, go out and hunt a jaguar or a chigüiro, which I don't know what you guys call a chigüiro because you don't have it. So
I'm trying to figure out where the chig would be and what a small version of it would be.
No, chigüiro, it's only in Colombia, so you wouldn't know you wouldn't have a word for it. Or just leave animals alone and.
Okay.
So that can be one of your New Year's resolutions. Not kill wildlife.
No, I can't. Man, that's a tough one for me.
Well, you have to.
Do you know how much I drive?
Well, that's an accident.
Okay, and it does. And the weird thing is that always makes me feel bad because it's an accident.
Well, you should feel. Oh wait, you wanted it not to be an accident?
You had it coming.
Shit, there's the phone. Wait. Oh man, it always happens.
Yeah.
You didn't time it this time though.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell a quick story while you're away. So, basically, what happened? It was 2 years ago, and I'm driving home. And it was when I'm driving home with two of our booth babes, Ralph and Alex, and we'd already come to the decision that Alex only could drive if it was daylight outside. And he drove the first shift, got us all the way till sundown. We grabbed some dinner, we eat, and we're driving. And as we're it's a Highway 70, and we're basically dug in for like a good 7 hours to go to get us back to Maryland. And Ralph is sitting shotgun, and he's looking at me, and he's like, "Why are you slowing down? Why are you slowing down? What are you doing?" Until finally he looks down the road and sees an entire herd of deer just moving across 70. And then we found out, oh, by the way, he is legally blind. So it turned out that I got to ride the entire way home driving all the night hours. It was loads of fun until about 3 hours after that, when a fox actually jumped across the highway at that point, and I hit it. And this is before Yovis and What Does the Fox Say? But I've always liked foxes before that, and it did kind of mess me up for a while to like have hit a fox while driving.
Well, if you hadn't said that it messed you up a little bit, I would have just like
Just
canceled.
screw you.
Yeah,
We're done here.
yeah. Like,
Now, to be
Fox
fair,
is
I
such
would
a
like to
beautiful
point out
animal.
we did see the fox get up and run still,
Well,
so
he
I'm
probably
very
had
comforted by that.
well, still, I mean, when it's an accident, I mean, there's really that's the definition of accident. There's really nothing you can do.
Mhm.
Like, as much as I dislike them, I try my best not to kick babies, but sometimes when you're, walking down the street and a baby gets in the way, you might accidentally kick a baby, and it's not my
Baby's
fault.
always in the way.
Actually,
They're
that's
just
not a
all over the
very
ground, man.
actually that's not a very inaccurate description.
How many
There,
ground babies do you have to deal with?
I was just about to say, there have been moments in my life where I have been genuinely, well, I did have to genuinely think to myself, holy shit, I almost kicked a baby. And
See,
not because I hate them or anything like that, but because, since they're running around and they're at that height. I mean, come on, you're gonna tell me that you have never accidentally kneed a baby, like hit it with your knee? And I'm not talking like double dragon knee to the face. I'm just talking about that you're walking and some little baby running around bumps into your knee and falls down. That's
okay,
never.
when you say baby, first off, you brought in the baby. I want you to know this. You brought in the baby talk. But when you say baby, you first say drop out of the call and then hop back in. So let's see, do I have to reset your camera?
Uh, I,
What's
I.
going on here?
Oh, wait. Yeah, I'm settling on the screen share, and I don't know what happened.
Okay, when you're talking about babies, first off, I wanted that clear. You're the one talking about babies.
I'm not talking about experiences, like lovely
Okay.
experiences with babies. I'm talking about kneeing a baby in the face.
But when you're talking about a baby running around, that probably isn't a baby. That's probably a toddler. Babies
Fuck
generally
you.
can't run.
Who gives a crap? Until you're 20, you're a baby.
And sometimes after that.
True. But still, I'm just talking about somebody whose face would be level with your knee. You can't tell me that none of these little adult larvae have ever, like it's never happened to you that one of them ran into your knee. Because it's
See,
happened
at
to
that
me
point-
multitudes of times.
I hate to tell you this as a parent. Don't even feel bad about it at that level. Like don't double dragon. Don't go into a Chun-Li spinning kick. Yeah, I could have given you Ken, but I gave you Chun-Li instead. And
But you see, the thing is, you can't go into a Chun-Li spinning kick because it would be too high. You wouldn't hit it anyway.
Chun-Li's very short in the torso. She flips over upside down, goes low.
I'm pretty sure it would still fan over the kid's face.
Okay,
Like,
don't
it
put a
wouldn't.
toddler on a box just to, Chun-Li kick him. Okay, don't do that. But what I'm saying is that if you do accidentally nudge into him or accidentally elbow into him or bump into him, that stuff, don't worry about it. This goes double for parents out there. Like, don't beat your kids, but if you're eventually going to run into your kid in some way, it is probably going to hurt them a little bit, and they are going to bounce it off, but they're going to, like, milk it hard. Because they're little brats.
Well, the thing is, it's Like I've put my knee on some little snot's face several times in my life. Uh,
This is the pride that you have while saying this too.
I would be proud if I did it on purpose, but I have to admit I didn't. I mean, this is the equivalent of me just putting my fist out in front of me and some idiot running into it. Like, I can't really say that I punched you.
Hmm.
You just kind of ran into my fist.
Yeah.
So this has happened to me a lot of times in my life. And the thing is, parents, well, I mean, I was gonna say no disrespect, but actually I mean all the disrespect possible to you that I can manage. Parents are normally very shitty people. Wait, did we again? Wait, what?
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 What were you saying? I'm sorry.
Oh, I thought I lost you.
No, well, sort of.
Okay.
I hit the mute button and was coughing.
You have to warn me about these things because the change and the sound is
Sorry.
so wow, it's so drastic. Anyway, parents are normally very shitty people and normally the ones responsible for me not liking kids. And the thing is, your kid is running around some mall or something, not looking where he's going.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a big dude, but I am at least taller than a baby. At least.
Barely. Yeah.
And the thing is, I'm walking around minding my business. Your kid is running around where he's not even supposed to be running, not looking where he's going. He runs into my knee, falls to the floor, cries, "I'm sorry, you have absolutely no right to be angry at me. None at all.
Mm-hmm.
And I have nothing to apologize about."
I never really unless like a stranger lowers the shoulder on my kid, I'm not gonna be that angry. If my kid clearly is the one not paying attention, yeah. If you're walking backwards, I'll probably get a little bit annoyed at you.
What?
But other than that, no. Kid's fault.
I'm just imagining some guy like, today I'm just going to walk through the mall backwards.
No, man, it's conventions. You get that person who finishes looking at a table or
Well, you
shopping
know
or
what?
buying
You
something.
know what? You're
Yeah.
not gonna like this, but fuck you. I don't care. If you took a baby to a convention, you deserve to have that baby kneed in the face. Don't take a baby to a convention. Don't get your baby on a plane. Don't take it to a movie theater. Don't take it out. Just leave it at home. Nobody wants
Babies
to
are
see
great
that.
at conventions. Complaining about a baby on a plane is cliche. And babies at a theater, find the right theater, find
It's
the right
cliche.
showing.
It's cliche because everybody does it because it's true.
No, complaining about the baby on the plane?
Oh wait,
Dude.
so because it's happened so many times before, I can no longer complain about your shitty baby on the plane?
Look, there are certain
I'm not talking about
flights-
your baby specifically.
Yeah.
But
I'm just saying sometimes there are flights out there, and like just about every flight is going to have a couple babies on it. And I'm sorry, yeah, they're probably going to fuss for like 5 minutes tops. There's no
that
such
is
thing as
so
a baby
untrue.
that. Okay,
That
there might
is
be babies out.
definitely. I have been on flights.
This is me thinking about traveling with my baby, and at most
Well,
he will
fuck
fuss
you.
for like
Fu-
5 minutes.
Well, fuck you. Like you can't come here and tell me that a baby is gonna fuss for 5 minute tops when I have had to go into your country the whole trip tolerating a crying baby.
Okay, we do have questions.
Absolutely.
Would you like the technique question or the trivial question?
Let's go with the technical one first because I can probably answer that one pretty quickly.
Let's see. How do you use the layers for colors or how?
Actually, I'm very practical about my layers. I don't use them specifically for one thing, as in I only use layers for colors or I only use layers for this or that. I just use layers for whenever I need precisely the advantage that layers give you, which is separating stuff that you can later on make disappear and stuff like that. So I can't really say that I use layers for anything very specific. I just try to get as much convenience as I can out of them.
Now, when we have the intern come in and do the colors for commissioned, does she do just one layer?
Oh fuck no! Our current intern is like layer crazy. I'm talking hundreds of layers. here. One of the reasons I have to this next month replace one of the computers here in the Scallywags art department is because layers normally make your file a lot heavier.
Yeah.
And they're not a bad thing. I mean, when you start depending on them too much, they become a bad thing. But in this case, the drawing is already done. So this is just a case of a person trying their best to work out artwork that was not originally done by her. So, they end up using a lot of layers because, there might be details that they didn't see, and there's a lot of backtracking involved and all that kind of stuff when you're working on something that you didn't do from the start. And the thing is, a lot of layers make the file super heavy, and normally we have to turn the computer off and let it rest for about an hour, at least twice a day. The intern's computer has to be turned off and allowed to cool off a bit, so we can continue working. So it's definitely time for an upgrade pretty soon. But yeah, I mean, a lot of people try to teach, to not use layers, and there are many, many, many circumstances where it does benefit the art aspect of it all to not use as many layers as you might otherwise be tempted to. But on the other side of that, there is the fact that layers serve a very practical purpose, and if you are using them for practical purposes, I guess what I'm trying to say is if you're using your layers as a safety net, as a way to not have to be afraid of making a mistake, then you're using them wrong. But if you're using them as something practical that you just kind of allows you to later delete stuff and move stuff around and all that, then yeah, sure.
Another good example of how you used layers was recently over the Christmas break we did a number of 3D drawings.
Yes. The 3D drawings are all based on layers. So, yeah. Yeah, they are.
That was a much shorter answer than I expected. Okay. Let's see. The other question that we had was, what is a chiquito?
Chiguito. Chiguito is the largest rodent in the world, actually. I'm gonna backtrack there, and I've read that it is the largest rodent, but it could be mistaken. So I'm gonna go with one of the largest, if not the largest, rodent in the world.
Is that a Chiguiro?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a very funny-looking animal.
I just want to point this out. Immediately, Google finished the search for me, and it gave me Chiguiro Colombia as the it finished the two, so I'm like, why not? The 4 images it shows me. First, it shows me one of these things nursing 2 more, and then immediately next to it, it shows me a giant plate of meat, and then a plate of roasting meat, and then a Chiguiro reading a pamphlet with a pair of glasses.
Oh, okay.
So 2 very adorable images and 2 very delicious-looking images.
I don't really know what the status of the chiguito is in terms of endangerment. I honestly don't know. I mean, I know there's a lot of I know there's a lot of animals here in Colombia that are eaten that you would not expect me to be okay with you eating, and I would be because, for example, there's a variety of small alligator here called caiman.
Yeah, caiman.
Yeah, and there's another variety called babija, and they grow those basically cattle or whatever you would call that. They have farms where they grow those precisely for eating. So in that case, sure, go ahead, eat one if you go ahead and eat one there, or for example snakes. I'm pretty sure snakes are not endangered, so go ahead and eat one. Chiguitos, I don't know. I mean they're not native to the part of the country I'm from. So I don't really know much about if they're endangered or not. But if they're not, and you're ever here in Colombia, then you go to those parts of Colombia where they have them. Feel free to eat one.
Um,
I mean, because I know you are in many, many, many ways like Charles Darwin.
I am going to hold off on this one because it actually looks like it is an at-risk animal. And by the way, some people might actually know it as a capybara.
But I think
So
it's the same family, but I'm not sure
no, no, it's the
capybara.
exact same animal. Yeah, is what they're saying.
Oh, it's just that's what you call them, or what?
Yeah, it's that's I guess the Portuguese name for it. So we found those in Brazil and stuck them in our zoos first before we found them in Colombia.
Oh, then it is what I say. Like the chiquito is a specific variety of it that you only find here.
Oh, okay. All right.
But they are of the same family. I'm sure of that, and it's the biggest rodent in the world. It's actually kind of cute.
Yeah, it does have a certain adorableness to it. I will say that.
It's kind of cute, and
Yeah, it looks like basically a hamster dog.
it's like a giant hamster. Yes, that is
Yeah.
what it looks like. With longer, it's kind of like if you took a hamster and you mashed it up with a pig.
I kind of see pig, but I also see a lot of dog in there too.
So hamster, a pig, and a dog have a threesome,
Hamster pig dog.
and it ends up coming out a lot larger than all of them.
Well, it depends on the dog.
Well, it's
Yeah.
like the largest dog is going to be a Great Dane, and I still think it's larger than a Great Dane.
No, the largest dog would be like a mastiff.
You're looking it up.
We were just spouting out weird, bizarre trivia here.
I'm just happy that the facts that we erroneously spout out are very harmless.
Biggest dog in the world.
Yeah, it's not like we're saying like health tips or anything like that.
I mean, you got your Irish Wolfhounds and your Saint Bernards and your Murder. And okay, Great Dane is at 7. Newfoundland is at 6. Which, by the way, Ralph, we'll give him a second shout out in the same show. He has a Newfie, and that thing is basically a small bear. Yeah, a Newfoundland can get up to about 260 pounds and 6 feet tall.
Oh, by the way, bears are on the list of stuff you're not allowed to touch.
That's okay. I already had some. I'm a little bit sad because it is delicious.
I hate you. I cannot break my relationship with you for stuff you did in the past.
Yeah, ex post facto. Yep.
Yeah. I can't do that for stuff you did in the past. But if you had done that now, we would have a problem. But it's in the past. Can't believe you ate a bear.
If it does, is this like a BuzzFeed knockoff?
What?
Like, I'm trying to figure out how a dog that only is 3 feet tall and weighs up to 150 is somehow bigger or smaller than the dog that I was just like a Newfie weighing 260.
Well, maybe it's very. Maybe it's only 3 feet tall, but very inflated and long.
Yeah, it's
the world wienerest wiener dog.
It's not, but
It's the weeniest wiener dog.
it looks like a poodle. It's an Anatolian Shepherd, so it looks like a poodle and a golden shepherd had a baby, and then it got into the wrong side of sports drugs and just kept taking all sorts of performance-enhancing drugs.
Okay. Do
So,
we have
an abomination is what we're saying.
do we have any other questions?
No, we got ask us about nature talk today on Scallywags Sketchcast.
What do we have next?
Okay, and actually there was a question of, so when we were talking about it, somebody wanting to know about more about the chiguero was asking, so it is a capybara, but it is its own chunk of the capybara, yeah. It is a species of capybara.
Can you try saying chiguiro again?
Well,
Come on, give it a try.
I don't want to throw the
like...
listener under the bus because I wasn't looking at the word chiguero.
No, but you haven't been able. Try it again. It's Chi,
Chi.
gui,
Gui.
ro.
Whoa.
You're having a little bit of trouble with that R, but that's not a
No,
surprise.
I have no idea where that R went. I just dropped it on the floor. I feel ashamed of that.
So you're like Skrillex with a beat. You just drop it.
Just drop it.
Whatever became of Skrillex? I haven't heard of him from a while. For a
I'm
while.
guessing that a roving pack of ska bands surrounded him, and every time he tried to drop it, they just kept picking it up, picking it up, picking it up.
That puts me at a conflict of interest because I'm one of those people that actually enjoys Skrillex, but one of my favorite music genres is ska.
Mm-hmm.
I remember one time that somebody I posted some ska thing and somebody commented that holy shit, some people still listen to ska. I'm like, whoa, I never stopped.
Yeah, why
I love
not?
ska. It's like the most fun music.
Mm-hmm.
Skrillex, on the other hand, I figure I shouldn't be very proud of,
No, I like Skrillex.
but it's fun. It's
Here's the thing. I'm not doing baby talk. Wreck-It Ralph. There's Skrillex right in the middle of it. And it's an enjoyable little beat. I like it being dropped in there. It fits perfectly. In fact, Skrillex himself has a cameo in Wreck-It Ralph.
really. I love
Yeah.
Wreck-It Ralph. What does he?
When it's the house party, the 30th anniversary party that's in the Nicelanders' house, the DJ of that party is Skrillex.
And then what does he show up as?
As Skrillex.
Oh, he's. Oh, okay. I'm gonna have to watch that again.
It's 3D CGI version of him. He's got the speakers on, he's got his cans on, and he's got the haircut, and he's just throwing down the Wreck-It Ralph theme song, I believe. When you see him.
I've never really been able to understand. Like, this is gonna make me sound old as shit. But
Mhm.
which, by the way, is not like old as shit is not really very accurate because shit can be new. Like shit could have just
You can
happened.
get some new shit.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
it's
but
gonna
this
make
is
me
old
sound. Yeah, it's gonna make me sound old. But whenever I'm on YouTube and I maybe watch a video or listen to some Skrillex music, and people mention that like, oh wow, like I just love the way he dropped that beat and stuff. I've never really been able to understand that concept, and I'm always like watching the video or listening to the song and wondering like at what exact moment in the song has the bass or the bass is the bass or the bass?
The bass.
It has the
The
bass.
bass is a fish.
Okay, at what exact moment in that song has the bass been dropped? I kind of missed it.
It's that moment where, yeah, that type of thing.
That was
Nice
that was-
callback to Ylvis. They actually have a song out that calls a love song called "Do You Dubstep?"
Oh.
Yeah, or "Do You Love the Dubstep?"
Okay, well, that now that we're in 2014 and 2013 is safely behind us, what new music group or genre or anything of those did you discover in 2013 that you're like, okay, I bring this into 2014 with me because I love it now?
Well, clearly Ylvis. Yeah, that's staying with me. Yeah, I enjoyed that every one of their songs that I dug up last year. Just me. Screw you, internet.
Yeah, yeah.
No, I'm gonna go
discovered-
hipster.
You discovered what the fox
Yeah.
says.
Yeah. I will say I was very happy to find out that they had done way more than just what the fox says, and that's what hooked them on me. Is like they have a very good ear for comedy, and they're not bad musicians.
Okay, so you discovered Ylvis.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's very nice.
Yeah.
That is very nice.
What did you expect me to throw Alan Thicke? Like I'm
I'm Robin Thicke.
Wait, which one's which? Seriously?
Alan Thicke is the actor, the Canadian actor.
And I can go to it. Like, how much greater would that music video been if it was him?
I think it would have been a little bit creepy.
It would have been. Well, guess what? It was creepy either way.
I think it would have been creepier.
Thank you.
Yeah, it would have been creepier if it was Alan Thicke seducing a
Right.
bunch of women.
Yeah.
But it would have been way, way, way more hilarious. Like
Yeah.
the thing is, I can't bring myself to hate that song, but because of Farrell, I love that dude. He's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So like I can't bring myself to entirely hate it. But what really intrigues me about that song is how quickly people went from liking it to hating it.
It's like, did we all just decide to like it without listening to it?
Yeah,
And,
like how did everybody just change their minds
I mean,
all
so
of a sudden?
many of us, like, I didn't actually see the YouTube video when I first heard it. Like, I saw it on stage, like, okay, it's got kind of a catchy beat, but most people saw the YouTube video to go with it. There's no subtlety in that video at all.
The
Like,
thing is, you know what
yeah.
my theory is? What happened
What's that?
is well, I mean, the thing is that song was surrounded by a lot of controversy, or you always
Controversy.
yes, you always correct my pronunciation of that word. Which, thank you, by the way, I don't mind.
We're swapping, yeah, tonight.
So sexy. So anyway, that song was surrounded by a lot of controversy with the objectification of women and all that kind of stuff. And the thing is, when you just watch it without thinking about that, there's 3 extremely attractive women in that video showing a lot of skin. And if you watch the uncensored version, they're also just topless the entire video.
Yeah.
So what my theory of what happened with that video is that people watched it and they were like, holy crap, this is sexy. And later on, they kind of realized that it was wrong. And they just decided, like, oh, so I guess I'm supposed to hate it. And, they just decided that now they have to hate it, even though deep down inside they're probably thinking that it's sexy as hell.
Well, and the problem is some of it, what makes it sexy, is just casting. And that's... yeah. And what's really going on in terms of the message of that song, that's not really that sexy.
Oh yeah, but when you watch a video, you see that's the thing. A lot of videos don't go with what the song is saying. Like for example,
actually, their reverse example was Pink when she did a music video a couple years ago about Funhouse. It was one of her, and like I'm like, oh hey, new Pink, okay, Funhouse, and I watched the video, and it literally exactly what she's singing about is happening in the music video, and it is one of the worst things ever.
Well, this week I mean I've seen this video countless times in my life, but this week I was kind of paying attention to Love Is a Battlefield, Pat Benatar, and it kind of disturbed me how the video doesn't go with the lyrics, because or it does, but then it doesn't do a very good job at being like what it's supposed to be. In the video you get this story about Pat Benatar leaving her dad. I think that's Pat Benatar. If not, it's just some other actress. But in the video you get the story about a girl that leaves her parents' house because of some disagreement with her dad, goes to work on a bar where some sleazy dude tries to hit on her, and she basically dances him out of the bar, I guess, and ends up going back home where everything is forgiven. The lyrics of the song, I'm not sure that's what they're about.
I don't think that's quite what's there, and if it is, I'm a little worried now. Yeah.
Yeah. So it happens frequently. So when you watch videos, I mean they're very often not about what the song is in terms of lyrics. So in the case of Blurred Lines, I'm guessing you can't make a video about what the song is, because that would be infinitely more horrible than it already is.
Yeah.
So, but that's the thing. Like, you watch it for the first time, and you're not listening to the lyrics. You're just looking at the boobs. And then what happens is you finally pay attention to the lyrics, and you're like, holy crap, this is horrible. And at the same time, how many times are you planning to say, everybody get up?
Mhm.
and then you realize that it's horrible, so now you have to say that it's horrible, but holy crap, you already liked it the first time.
Here's another weird thing: is early endorsements can also drastically affect people's opinions on this. And that song accidentally ended up getting, well, not really accidentally, but there was weird circumstances. It got a big endorsement over the summer from the Colbert Report. They were doing this whole summer concert series, and they were planning on having X number of bands over the 4 nights of this week. 4 bands, 4 nights, and the fourth night it was pretty much known that they were going to go with Daft Punk, and they were going to do Daft Punk Get Lucky, which also not exactly a non-creepy song while we're at it. Like the plot of that song is, yeah, we're staying up late because we're trying to bone you down. So that's
Oh,
going to
but
happen.
have you
But
watched the interview they did to Farrell asking him about the lyrics, where he basically tries to convince the world that that is not what the song is about?
wait, which one? Get Lucky or
Get
Living No?
lucky, yeah,
Yeah,
because he's also in that song. So
yeah,
so
Pharaoh, just all over
so
the place.
there's this interview he's talking about. There's this version of the video where he talks at the beginning of the video about what the song means, and he basically goes into this huge pile of bullshit where he just tries to sell the idea that Get Lucky is not about getting laid, that
Yeah,
it's about finding love. It,
yeah,
it
that's
is
exactly what people are looking for, especially dudes
it is
that are
awesome.
trying to do at 3 a.m. Yeah.
Yeah, it is just awesome the way he tries to explain how Get Lucky is so much more than having sex. It's about finding love and the luck that it involves to find that special person and all that kind of stuff. It is absolutely amazing to watch because you
So
can tell right away that he does not buy half of it.
he's just like, ah, crap. They finally realized both of my songs are all horny as all hell. Great.
Yeah.
So what I was saying though is that with the whole Daft Punk thing, they were supposed to come on fourth night and do Get Lucky, and MTV and Comedy Central are both owned by the same media conglomerate, and MTV had quote unquote exclusive rights to Get Lucky for a live performance status for the MTV Movie Awards, which were like a month later after Colbert's little music series that he does. So they actually pulled rank and got the corporate heads of Comedy Central to say that Daft Punk cannot go on this show. So they yanked Daft Punk away from them like the day before Daft Punk was going to show up.
But
Like,
was Daft Punk in the MTV video,
yeah,
whatever it
yeah.
was?
But a month later.
But
But here's the thing.
they also had blurred lines.
Yeah, they also had blurred lines too. I mean, they had all sorts of things on the MTV Movie Awards. That's something else entirely. Whereas, here's the thing: we're now effectively a scheduled variety show with the Sketchcast. You don't have to put up with that end of the business because I love you. You're a good guy, and I'm learning the pain of putting together a schedule and trying to get guests lined up for each show.
I don't have
Uh,
to deal with it not because I'm a good guy. I don't have to deal with it because I'm the art.
you're, yeah, you're the art. Okay,
Yeah,
I could
yeah,
make you. I could, have them all contact you and tell you what day they're available. But when you lose a guest, like you're lining up, like so many dominoes in a row. But to lose a guest like within 24 hours of a show is just mad dash scramble. You lose all ability to think, and like for something like Colbert, that would be 1/3 of their show. So, and one of the more hyped parts of their show that they were building up to for like the last 3 weeks. So it was kind of an ass move and a dick move. And
well, would you expect anything else from MTV? Like really?
yeah, well,
Like it is. It
well, you
is one
wouldn't
of
have
those
expected
channels.
music videos. Ha ha! But
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, we're
So
old.
actually, what Colbert did was a music video. They did a Get Lucky music video with Bryan Cranston of Breaking Bad, and him and Colbert in 1970s disco roller skate outfits, boogieing out to it. It was
Nice.
really quite entertaining, and then they brought in Growing Pains to come in and
Alan Thicke?
yes, they brought in Robin Thicke. Uh,
Okay.
yeah, but I
No,
think
I
I'm gonna
genuinely thought because I
yeah
genuinely thought like, hey, that would be funny,
yeah
like to bring in Alan Thicke instead
yeah
of Robin Thicke and just make this whole comedy skit about how they got the name wrong and ended up bringing the wrong guy.
yeah. But anyhow, they bring in Robin and they have him do his blurred lines and. They bring him in and have him do his blurred lines. It basically sounds like, yeah, they punched him in the face so he saw double and they made him do some cocaine. Some blurred lines.
Okay.
No, that was a bad joke, man.
Yeah,
This
it
is why we
wasn't very
can't.
good.
This is why we can't take 3 weeks off.
Yeah, yeah, that wasn't very
Yeah.
good.
I started thinking, maybe a cocaine joke would be funny here. No,
Thing is,
kids.
I honestly think that one of the things that killed blurred lines
Hmm?
was the MTV award thingy with Miley Cyrus. I think that is genuinely one of
Mhm.
the things that killed that song. One of the things that made people decide that now they thought it was horrible
Yeah,
because it was a horrible, horrible. I mean, the song was not really. I mean, it's a catchy song, so
yeah.
it's a song that doesn't have a very long shelf life.
It has a good
Uh,
hook, and they don't drop the bass.
yeah, which is very nice of them, to be
Yeah,
careful
it's
with the
very
bass
polite.
and not drop it.
Hold it properly.
But the thing is, it's very much like a bubblegum song. You chew for it a
Yeah,
while, it tastes kind of good, and then it has no flavor to it, and you throw it away. And thing is, it wasn't a very good version of a song that was not very good to begin with. So I think that really killed the song for them.
yeah.
I will make a disclaimer here on our show that I know absolutely nothing about what I'm talking about. Like, this is just my observation, by the way.
I think
Like, I
that's a
barely
standard
know.
observation. The moment we turn on the microphone, we know nothing.
Yeah, like
We do
I
know what the largest dog in the world is, and even then, I still am not entirely convinced. I'm seeing a big dog.
that's one thing I was thinking about these days. So you can see what I occupy my brain on while I draw or stuff. Um, I was thinking, everybody keeps on saying you can't believe everything you read on the internet. You can't believe everything you read on the internet.
Hmm.
The internet is it has a lot of lies, and a lot of the stuff you read on the internet is not true. Blah blah blah.
Yep.
You can't really believe everything you read in books either. Like it's not like a
Yep.
book is guaranteed that it's going to be true. Like it's not like there's some sort of law of physics that doesn't allow you to lie in a book.
There's a couple things. There's editors and there's librarians, and we hold those two professions in high regard for that very reason.
Yeah, but that's also that you would be considering them infallible, which they are not. So
Yeah.
so it's like I'm not saying that Wikipedia is the like absolute like everything
Yeah.
you read on Wikipedia from now on you should believe. No, but at the same time it's not like there's no reason to doubt it any more or any less than you would
Right.
doubt like a book. Somebody had to write it, and that somebody can be wrong just as much.
Hmm.
So yeah, I'm here defending Wikipedia. You can, the people from Wikipedia can send my check to Dern. He'll make it get to me.
You hear that, Jimmy? Send us the check.
Although I'm not sure if they would be able to pay me because they ask for money like every single year, and it is
Have
sad.
we? You see that? I love the fact that we're probably the only podcast out there that has kept a routine joke about Jimmy Wales in our back pocket.
it's just sad. I'm sorry, it's just
What?
sad.
No, there's nothing sad about Jimmy Wales unless you don't give him that money, and
You
then
see,
he's very sad.
that's the thing. He just shows up like once a. Isn't that like what time of year
He
is it
didn't
that he does
stare.
that?
It was a couple months ago, and he wouldn't stare at us. I'm like, come on, Jimmy, you gotta look. Come on, show us those baby blues. And he would not give us a picture of himself this
It was
time.
a couple of months ago.
Yeah,
I think I missed it then.
they did it all clandestine this time. It was like just a little
Oh.
tiny drop down, and it was just
Oh,
text
oh,
only.
then maybe I didn't miss it. It's just that I think people complained so much that they decided, like, this year we can't be as. Because they were really, like, unapologetic about it. They were just, like, straight out beg for money.
Yeah.
Like, they'd be
See,
in your face with it.
I love Jimmy Wales hunting season. Oh man, okay, that was a good joke. I know it was in my heart, but again, lost connection. So we're going to blather here for a second and see either that or that was a really bad joke. Okay, I'll backtrack on that one. I'll admit it. Uh, Whale hunting is just not funny. Even though I think Herman Melville did miss his calling in comedy. All right, we're going to switch cameras over to O again.
Okay,
Yes.
I'll explain. I'll explain. Thing is, they're doing some repairs on my internet connection these days, so it's kind of unstable. On
Hmm.
Friday, I didn't have internet for the whole day.
Yeah, that was a fun little warning that you blurted out to me at one point.
Yeah.
But yes.
So, so yeah, Wikipedia asked for money. Robin Thicke didn't
I
have a
gotta
very
know.
good song to begin with, and Get Lucky, I actually like that song. I like their new album a lot.
But this is actually a question that came up while you were off the air. Is whale hunting funny?
No, absolutely not. Well,
Okay,
hunting
okay,
is not
okay.
funny at all.
I knew I should have
Oh,
gone with
wait.
my.
Are we talking about like making jokes about whale hunting?
Uh, yeah, sure.
Well, I don't know. I mean, as long as we can read Moby Dick, I guess.
Well, I was actually making a suggestion that maybe Moby Dick was in fact comedy, just a really badly written one, in which then we'd have to say, yeah, maybe whale hunting is just not funny.
Well, I mean, Moby Dick takes itself very seriously. It's not exactly a light-hearted book.
It's just a really badly told joke. That's all.
But yeah, I mean, I mean, as long as, I mean, I suppose the entire world, except some parts of it, agree that whale hunting is bad.
Hmm.
So,
Everybody but Japan. Yeah.
is it only Japan? I think there's more countries that whale hunt.
There might be, but they're the one that brings like the most embarrassment. Like seriously, Japan, why you got to do that?
I don't know. I guess if South Park could, then again, South Park gets away with a lot of jokes that regular people cannot get away with.
They're almost expected to at this point.
Did you watch the console wars South Park
Ah
episodes?
man, don't do that to me. I haven't watched South Park in like 3 years now.
Oh, I actually was way behind on it too, and
Yeah.
I saw those, and they were. I was one of those people that was thinking that South Park had kind of lost a lot of its charm, and that kind of brought it back.
That worked for you?
It did, especially the ending. Spoilers, by the way, people.
Okay.
At the end, it just turns out that like all the 3 episodes or 2, I don't remember, they're just like it's just one huge promotion for their game. That's it. Like that is the conclusion of the whole thing, that they're just promoting their game.
Man.
And it is so funny. Like people were actually annoyed by it.
That it was promotion?
Yeah, people are like, "Oh, so that's the end of it all, that you're just promoting your game," and people were annoyed. I loved it.
That's good times.
I loved it. So, do we have any other questions, or should we
I believe we have left the audience speechless at this point.
saying, yes, okay, we might have had a very long discussion about blurred lines, Robin Thicke.
There weren't a lot of entry points into what we were talking about, to be brutally honest. We do have some comments basically saying, hey, great to see you working.
To see you working, you're not doing anything.
No, to see you working. Those were
Oh,
mostly
yeah.
by me. Good to see you actually doing work and keeping us employed. Yeah, that's always good to see. It's one of
Work,
my
money,
favorite things to
work.
see. Work
I'm
it.
I'm watching money. It's my favorite show.
Cha-ching.
That I've never really thought about it that way.
Mhm. So, one thing I do eventually want to talk to you about, but I forgot to give you homework for this episode.
Oh,
You're gonna have to check out a video game pretty soon. It's in pre-alpha right now. Which, when talking about video games, where did this ever come from? Seriously,
what?
like, think of, like, go back in time. Tell the 12-year-old you that, yeah, by the way, I met with some people that are busy putting together a video game. It's not done yet. It's not even done for full testing, let alone hand it to a stranger testing. But they showed us a bit of it. Is that mind blowing or is that just stupid?
Are you talking about like early access games?
Like early access games, or okay, so I was at MagFest, which is the music and gaming festival, and they had an area set up called the indie area, or indie pavilion or something, independent gamers, and they were allowed to come in, set up booths, and actually demo off their games, show what they had. And this is a company that's looking to launch their first game, and they're making a platformer, and they actually had it hooked up on a. I don't know what type of box they had it in. I'm guessing just regular computer, but I was playing on a Xbox
If it's
360
not done yet,
controller.
it's probably a computer.
Yeah,
Yeah, if it's not done yet, it's probably a computer.
but it was already pretty smooth. And I mean, they're working on adding levels and adding more art elements, and it was it very much was like you could tell that Earthworm Jim and Ren and Stimpy was in its DNA. It was called Bacon Man.
Okay.
Yes. So
Bacon
actually,
Man.
Bacon
Okay,
Man.
that's
Yes. So I guess a little bit of Meat Boy was in there too, but uh, sitting down playing
not
it and
really.
hmm? Well,
Well, I mean, yeah, they're both meat, but
isn't Meat Boy a platformer or?
don't you be? Well, yeah, Meat Boy is a platformer, but Meat Boy is basically about a boy that doesn't have any skin.
Oh,
So that's why he's called Meat Boy, because he's basically just the meat, no skin.
there used to be a time where I would like be obsessively just trying to learn this all. Like, what is that a famous game that was mentioned at one point? I better learn everything about it real quick. Don't have time to play with it because I need to go find out about 3 other games. But the yeah, anyhow, Bacon Man is basically the heir to the meat throne.
Okay.
That he's going to become king of all meat, but King Pork steals the crown from him and
Well,
is the
pork is more than bacon. It
yeah.
includes bacon.
Well, he's like a big pork chop, and he's basically hiring people to get in the way of Bacon Man and to thwart his ability to claim the crown. He also gets a toast gun at one point. I got to play around with that, and it's a very cruel game. Like, I looked at it while it was being played and thought, this is probably a game that I would touch once and then rage quit. It plays a little bit more fun than that. Like, even in the alpha testing, like, I had fun going through the levels and
Okay.
kind of poking through side to side, and it had a good natural feel to it. Like, it's got a good engine, it's got good art, and pretty much at this point all they need to do is just expand it out into a full-size game. So
Okay, so
I
why are you telling me about this?
remember when I was I got way off on tangent there, didn't I?
Yeah, you did.
Oh gosh. So as we're like staring at it, and this is Alex and I. Alex is one of our booth babes, and this was like Friday night of MagFest, and we're a little bit tired because 2 days in, and we're staring there, and we're looking at it, and one of the booth helpers for the Bacon Man comes up and he looks at our tags and sees that we've got like little shopkeep ribbons. So he asks us, "Well, what do we do?" And Alex just quickly defers to me in these situations, and I say, "Oh, I'm with Scallywags International. We're a media company. We do, web comics and board games and children's books." And then he said, "Oh yeah, Scallywags, yes. One of my artists is a big fan of you guys."
Oh.
And so he brings this girl over. Her name was Kat, and she's like, and the guy introduced her like, "This is the guy. This is the guy from Scallywags." And she's like, "Wait, I'm sorry. Wait, which webcomics again? Because I mean, we're not. When you're a fan of our webcomics, you don't always know us as Scallywags International. It's like sometimes you're a fan of Superman, not DC Comics." And I know, oh, you hate that example. And I would say, yeah, I'm the writer. I write on commissioned, and I write Hello with Cheese. And then she looks at me and she goes, "Oh my God, you're O!"
She must have been so disappointed.
Not as much as I was.
Yeah, nobody cares about your disappointment.
I'm just sitting there like, how do you call me O? I am physically the exact opposite of O in so many ways.
But do you know what the name of the company was?
Yes. And no.
Oh.
They gave me a card, they gave me a t-shirt actually, and it's still in my van because it was freezing when I got home, and I sat down, and then with the concrete I still haven't been outside to unload the van. Yeah, it's been a whole week since I've been home from that show, and I still have not unloaded the van.
So, no, you don't know what the name of the company is. Basically.
I can tell what the name of the company is later.
Yeah, but you don't know.
I don't know right now.
Well, then you don't know.
But you know.
No.
You know.
What?
No.
What?
No.
What do I know?
Just so you know, we have a new question.
Oh, okay, great. I was getting bored anyway.
Yeah, I was running that one to the ground. I love the world that you guys are creating for the comic. Will it expand beyond Dwarf, Elf, and Weretiger and show unrelated storylines in that same world? Thanks. Huh.
Did we, already expanded?
Well, from a comic perspective,
Well, I think it's like I said in the rant, not more than a few days ago. There's possibilities, and this is the first possibility we're exploring, and we are creating a world that, well, I feel, and I hope Dern feels too.
Mm-hmm.
We are creating a world that has a lot of potential to it and a lot of possibilities. And later on, who knows? I mean, we'll definitely. I mean, I'm definitely very interested in seeing what else can come from what we're making here. Who knows? Maybe this grows into something that we eventually start making more stuff out of, or maybe this is it. There's the possibility, and the world we're making is way big, and it offers us a lot of room to play in. And do a lot of stuff, not even just comics. I mean, there's just so much stuff we can do here.
Well, yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if in the future there's more than just Dwarf, Elf, and Weretiger. For now, this is just the beginning. So, for now, this is what we're doing, but who knows?
For example, with the short stories, half of them were not tied to Dwarf, Elf, and Weretiger. Half of them were all Weretiger. And then we did one with the story of Fiddlebutt. We did one with the Braktra. And my personal favorite was Shaggle and Scorn, the hippie wizard and his mangy dog. And then also we did the story of the Revenge Party of Six, in that now we see what happened to all the characters we now know what happened to all the characters that have gone past Dwarf, Elf, and Were Tiger in this story now. So the three other hunting parties, we have more or less given locations to where they all ended up. And now we're down to two hunting parties, and one of them does rather suspiciously have the ability to create flashbacks, like Were Tiger did.
Okay, you need to shut up now because you're just giving away. I mean, he didn't ask for you to spoil the comic. He just asked that if we're planning to do anything with the expanded universe, and the official answer is it's a possibility that I'm definitely looking forward to exploring. Disregard any spoiler that Turn might have hinted towards.
I will say this: the next 3 years, the story will be Dwarf, Elf, and Were Tiger as major parts of it. Like, we're not going to stray away from their path.
Oh yeah, we still have a lot of love for these
Yeah.
people. So
I like the idea of, and I really do like the idea of filling in more cracks in this story. Um, there's things that we've thought about in terms of even just this week we were actually kicking around the idea of what if we actually did like a full commissioned novel to really flesh out some of the areas that we're not going to be touching or brushing up past and letting them spin off in their own tangents. I really enjoyed writing those short stories and getting to, paint a pretty picture or so. I also will point out that I did hide a ninja in one of those 6 stories, and no one has yet found it. Yes.
That's cute.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. We're definitely looking forward to what can happen here. I think we've discovered something pretty neat with a lot of potential. There's just so much homework for us to do right now in terms of, for example, like we got the whole language and all that kind of stuff, but we also need to organize it so we can share it with you guys, for example. That's just one thing. So there's a lot of stuff that I definitely dream of us having a world that isn't just for us to play in, but that people actually start imagining their own things. Kind of seeing something that maybe they can bring their own imagination into it. I'm probably not being very clear here. What I'm trying to say is that I've always wanted to build a world that people can imagine themselves in and kind of let their own imaginations run wild, and I think that's kind of like what we're building here.
Which actually then leads into her follow-up question where she noted, would an illustrated monster manual also be one of the things that we're looking to do? Speaking of imagining yourself in this world, we are very conscious that this is secretly also a game being played, and that there is the mechanics of a game world being put together here, as far as it being like a supplemental manual or its own monster manual or its own full campaign. We don't know how big of a game that is right now, and I do know I really don't plan on touching that for at least 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, I've always wanted to have my own role-playing game, but there are certain things in life that I think that you also have to ask yourself if the world needs that, right? Like it would be awesome to like in 2 years or something like that. But by the way, like to anybody listening, that this is my thought on it, not necessarily Dern's, right? So just to not kind of compromise anybody else's opinions here. But basically, I've always thought that it's a very neat possibility for us to actually make a role-playing game out of this. But then again, there is also a part of me that wonders, is this something that the world really needs? So definitely something that later on in the future we'll be looking into not just the possibility of, but also what exactly would be the way to go by it. Um, I'm gonna mute while I
Grab that
disconnect the
phone,
phone.
and
Yeah.
I'll run my side of the story there too. From the game designer's perspective and the merchandise guy's perspective, what I see with commissioned and what it needs in order to actually become a monster manual or a gaming campaign is it needs more content. If we focus just on the old Dwarf Elf and Were-Tiger stuff, a lot of it runs kind of parallel to things that have shown up in other manuals. We have had some special things show up that will definitely keep, and in ways will recycle them and bring them into a modern situation. But at the same time, we have a unique monster system, or a unique set of breeds of monsters. The Bractra is very important in that respect. So that would be one of the things that we would have in our expansion, or the game itself. Bractras to us are effectively, for the longest time in the script, we were referring to them as anti-dragons, in that they were the polar opposite of what a dragon is. And we played around with what exactly does that mean. Like, we knew what they needed to be on the scale of things and on the spectrum of monsters. We didn't know what they were until really about a month ago. We finally figured out exactly what the word Bractra meant, and what its etymology was, what the Bractras could actually do. We'd like to fill in a few more smaller monsters. We have a few unique species, and we definitely have a lot of unique classes. And for example, the mages, we need to figure out from a game design standpoint that there are ways that mages that have complementary powers can blend and create bigger spells. There are spells like targeting spells that just make other members of your party more powerful. So it takes a mage from being just a nuke cannon to occasionally being something closer to like what a bard used to be. And it could take a bard and turn it into something that, could be a super powerful sword attacking bard. Even though we've not actually seen a bard at all, have we?
I hate bards.
Oh, really?
You know, I've been a fantasy enthusiast my entire life.
Mm-hmm.
I started my first fantasy. I don't know if you remember which one yours is, but my first fantasy book was Narnia. Actually, at that age, I was actually not aware of all the religious content in Narnia.
I was early to Narnia, again, not realizing the religious side of it, and
So I
I want
enjoyed
to
it.
say, oh yeah, and I want to say that Hobbit was my first.
Okay, well, my first was Narnia, and ever since I've been way into fantasy. I had the privilege of playing D&D actually before I read or was even aware of The Lord of the Rings. So that definitely gave me a kind of different perspective on the whole thing. And right from the beginning, like right from my very first reading of the D&D manual and all that kind of stuff, I saw bards and I'm like, what is this shit? Like, really? Like so these guys, they sing. That's what they do. That's their power. And
It's the power of cheer.
and I always saw bards as a sort of supporting cast. Like I always noticed that none of my players really wanted to be a bard, and whenever we came across like some player that like really was into bards and kind of did them right, it was still never quite as cool, and we definitely gave a lot of importance to the whole coolness factor when we were playing. Like we wanted to feel cool and heroic. I think a bard can be done right,
Mm-hmm.
definitely, but I never really kind of I always thought that a bard should just be something additional to your character. Like you got a fighter, and you add some bard aspects to that character, and that makes him, that gives him a lot of extra flavor and makes him a much more interesting character. But the bard himself, as a character, I was never really into. And then when the Lord of the Rings came into my life, and they just break out into song like it's a fucking Disney movie, it's it really, like, I love the Lord of the Rings like more than a lot of stuff in life, a lot of people even, but I could really do without that. Like, especially because I don't really kind of I just don't really imagine it to have been cool at that moment. Like, it would be a huge fucking coincidence if every single person in Middle Earth sang beautifully. And it's kind of funny because even in the movie, it becomes pretty obvious. Like, when Aragorn breaks into song, he does not sing very well.
Just no one wants to tell him, like, it'd be straight.
Yeah, so basically for me it was just like this awkward scene where nobody dares tell Aragorn, like, dude, shut the fuck up. Like, you're
Nobody
not
wants to lean in and say, dude, ask the elves if they could put that back together.
Like, I realized that you wanted it to sing at your wedding, like, but couldn't you just, like, push your face into the cake or something like a regular dude? Did he have to sing? And yeah, he just breaks out into this horrible song, and it's like one of those moments in that movie where you've been, and again, like, by the time I saw the Lord of the Rings movie, I had already read the books, like, I don't know how many times and all that, but at that moment it was kind of like that part of the movie where everybody's kind of thinking that the movie was over, but it wasn't. So everybody's kind of like just waiting for the movie to be over so they can go and pee.
So, like, hovering above the seat at this point.
And this guy starts singing. So it was, yeah, I've never really liked that part of those universes, and I've never really enjoyed it that much. I do like the authenticity that, you know, bards add to the whole thing, because, yeah, you know, there was no TV, no video games, probably books were not that easy to come by, so it does make sense that people would value some guy that knew how to sing. But yeah,
I'm trying to think. The Winds of Winter. No, that's not the actual name of the series. Oh, jeez. Oh my gosh. Why can I not think of the name of that series? But it had a bard in it that I actually enjoyed, and there's the Wheel of Time. Thank you.
oh,
Yes, I am literally thanking my fingers at the moment.
okay.
Just so you know.
Yeah, no. I've actually, I am aware of the existence of the Wheel of Time.
Yeah, I still haven't finished reading that. That's one of my geek shame things. But then again, like, a lot of people that were reading the Wheel of Time, like, they always give me a pass on that. Like, yes, it's understandable. Like, I've read all the Robert Jordan novels. I have not read the ones that have come after his death.
I don't know. I mean, if you tell me that, like, dude, I started the Lord of the Rings but wasn't able to finish it, like, I'm okay with that. Like, I understand. Like, especially, like, if you tell me that you read the Lord of the Rings but you weren't able to make it past the first half of the Two Towers, I get it.
Is first half of Two Towers Frodo, or?
Yeah, that, you know, and Frodo and Sam, basically. Or I'm not. Okay, I forget if it's the first half or the second half. But anyway,
it's
if you were unable,
half, yeah.
If you were, yeah, it's so that would be the second half, actually, because I remember. No, wait, I don't know. But anyway, if you were not able to make it past that part, I get it. You know, it's understandable. It's not the easiest read in the world.
Apparently, from what I understand, though, is I'm already past the Frodo half, if you will, of the Wheel of Time. Like, it's just all finish it up from here.
It gets better.
Yeah.
What are you reading right now? You can say nothing. If you're not.
I actually don't have anything. Well, I do have Uglies by Scott Westerfeld.
Oh, I loved it. I really enjoyed that book, and I didn't think I was gonna.
Yeah, so
Uh,
that's going to be read very soon, and I mean,
I didn't really think I was gonna enjoy it as much as I did, not because I thought it was gonna be a bad book, but because I was not very much aware of young adult literature at that moment. So
mhm,
I didn't really know what to make of it when I kind of I read like what the book was about and I said that sounds awesome. I
yeah,
want to read it, and I see that it's young adult, and I'm like, oh,
yeah.
isn't that like stuff that I probably wouldn't enjoy? And then I started reading it, and oh wow, it's really good.
Which I'm assuming just leads to your hatred of young adults.
Um, I don't really know where the age cut in young adults is. But I have through Uglies actually I discovered like, hey, it seems that I like young adult literature,
Hmm.
and I later on I this past year I read Hunger Games,
Yeah.
which I enjoyed a lot too.
Hmm.
And now I just started the Golden Compass, or well, actually, his Dark Materials.
Yes. Okay. Those I think somebody gave them to me in print, and I've been meaning to just buy them digitally so I actually read them.
Yeah,
I feel so bad. Like that's probably one of my bigger conventions of the world is that I have switched over to digital reading like completely to the point that I don't even know who I am anymore. That I just don't like reading paper novels.
I don't either. I don't either. And people give me such a dirty look when I say that. Like I grabbed every single book in their library and spit in it or something.
Yeah, and
It's
I
just so
get
much more convenient.
I love I remember the joy of a tactile book. I remember the smell of book glue. That's amazing. The smell of fresh ink on paper is still something that I love. And I know this because at conventions, I'll usually write off a couple decks of Postremo or a zombie playing card deck as a loss. Because I'll always crack a deck and just be like shuffling it while I sit there. And that first time when I crack it, like our deck with the ink on it, and just it smells so good.
But no, really. I mean, like
But
I,
yeah,
I always and I always get like the dirtiest looks from people when I say this. That like, if it's a book for reading, by the way, I mean
hmm,
a reading book, not a coffee table book, not a decorative book, not a pop-up book or like something
right,
like that. But if it's a book that I'm just gonna read, I would prefer it, an ebook.
yeah,
And it's just, yes, books are pretty, but space is limited. First of all.
hmm.
Second, we should save paper. Like why not? Like if we have
It's
a
not the biggest it's not the biggest ecological thing to
yeah,
do out there because trees do grow,
yeah, but
but
why not? Like
why
why
not?
not?
Yeah,
Yeah, and but finally, like when I lay in bed, it is just so much more comfortable to grab a tablet. It's so much more lighter. It's
hmm,
you don't have to have the light on. The tablet illuminates itself unless you have one of those tablets that do not illuminate themselves, in which case, well, I don't know what you do, but whatever.
yeah.
But still, I mean, it's just so much more comfortable and so much more convenient and everything that. And people tell me like, oh, I just like I can't read the screen. I get a headache. And to me, that's just the same as people that say like, "Oh, I can't watch 3D. I get a headache." And I'm like, "Well, have you given it a shot, or did you just complain the entire movie about getting a headache?" Which is normally what happens. Like, it's not.
Well, to be fair, some people just our eyes suck. Okay,
Well, yes,
I
yes,
am in
like
the
in
headache
general, but
thing, but I have a cataract, so yeah.
no, it's that. It's like, okay, look, if you get a headache from reading a book on your iPad, you can
Hmm.
read a book on your Nook or on your Kindle, and that's digital ink. You're not gonna get the same effect than if you're reading
Yeah.
a like a light up screen and all that. So basically, if you're not reading ebooks, it's because you just don't want to, and price is not an issue either because books are not cheap.
I am a little bit annoyed that ebooks are not that much cheaper, But then the flip side of it is and I'm again gonna I'm very pro library. Scallywags Inc. is one of our standard pillars. Is that we fucking love our libraries. Like if I'm worried about the cost of books, and let's say I don't want to go to the library to get a bunch of books, there are a bunch of libraries now that let you hook up your Kindle to the library system and just straight digital check out from them.
That's awesome.
It is beyond awesome, yes.
That is really cool.
They also do audiobooks.
So, why do you say that like it's a secret?
I just wanted to like not give you too much of a boner.
Well, I don't live there, so I don't really like.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I can't really.
There's that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
hey, God bless Audible.
Hey, yeah. Someday you will live here. We'll bring you over, and we'll start doing more and more stupid shows. And of course, welcome to some of those new viewers that just spiked on, and we occasionally have some technical difficulties due to not living in America, as we were just discussing. He lives in Medellin, Colombia, which is currently rediscovering the concept of internet this weekend, which means that he just temporarily lost it for about the, I believe, fourth time this was Sketchcast. We're going to babble incoherently for another 30 seconds or so, and hopefully have him reboot back up. Surprisingly not working yet. We were going over one of the things that I really liked about MagFest this past weekend was it's a very fun show. It tends to be a very good financial show for O and I, that we sell through a lot of our stuff. We get to clear out some space in the warehouse and start the new year with a pretty good positive cash flow. But we talked about it, and this is one of those shows that if we got bigger to the point that we didn't really need conventions anymore, there's still conventions that we would like to go to just to goof off. And, I mean, Dragon Con is obviously one of those, and then you also would have your San Diego Comic-Con, and I think MagFest is one of those that tempts us, that just dares us to show up and do stupid stuff and then goof off all weekend long. I am getting a message from O really quickly on my phone. This is not a good sign. He says he is still connected. He just can't get the Hangout to load, and here he comes back. Okay.
Yeah, but it's like I said, my connection is weird, and it's weirding out. I still had internet. It was Google Plus.
Wasn't liking the bandwidth that we were taking from you.
I don't have any love for Google Plus. That might be the problem. I don't like it.
Gotta love it just a little bit more. Just a little bit.
I don't like it. I don't really like the way it's being forced upon everybody. So
that's a little creepy. I will agree with that. But I was also talking, blathering about how we have stupid plans for the future.
Stupid plans for the future. Okay.
Like when we get to that point where we no longer need conventions to make money. Like conventions right now represent about a third of our operating costs. Like that's what we need. We need to keep doing conventions to make a third of our paycheck. If we were able to increase revenue in other areas, I could easily see us cutting back on some of those shows, but then keeping some shows just to be places to goof off with fans.
Well, it's because as much as hard work as they are fun.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and I was talking about how MagFest is probably one of those shows that, especially if it's a case of we're both in the U.S. at that point, then yeah, I could see us turning that one into a show that we goof off at.
I just, like, some people that I am a fan of were there. Like, I'm a big fan of the Game Grumps.
Mm-hmm.
They were there.
Were they streaming? Were they? Do you know if they were the ones streaming?
No, they were not.
Okay, I know there was at least one of those super live play people that they were actually playing from, like they had their own personal couch set up along the wall that they were broadcasting from.
No, I don't remember seeing any. I mean, I could be
Okay.
wrong.
Well, it was somebody was doing that, and I know I saw some Grump merch floating around, and yeah, there's a lot of fun things to do with that show. I don't know if that's going to be the Balls Deep show.
Well, you're giving away the joke, so don't continue
Don't
into
even
that.
talk
Yeah,
about the Balls
yeah,
Deep plan.
yeah, yeah. Don't mention it again.
Wow. If anybody asks us what is the Balls Deep plan,
We're not going to answer it because we want it to be a surprise.
we do. No,
Well,
that's going to be promoted the hell out of. 'Cause
no,
if
it's going to
we
be
do
promoted the
this,
hell out of when we're going to do it.
okay.
Like, not yet. It's not happening yet.
I gotta be honest. There is a solid chance that we do that this year.
Doo doo.
Doo doo.
But let's wait until it actually happens.
All I'm saying is definitely get your tickets for San Diego Comic-Con. We will do something stupid. It will be awesome.
Oh yeah, definitely do not miss us at San Diego Comic-Con.
Yes.
We plan to have fun.
We will have fun. We will have something awesome. Yeah, I'm already starting to run the numbers on different things at that show, and I'll talk to you about that offline.
Yeah, that's not show talk.
That's not good showy talk. Speaking of which, we are way over our normal 90-minute chunk.
Well, we don't have a guest today, so
Yeah.
I mean the and you don't have to export the video or anything. It just exports itself.
Yeah.
So and this is actually very useful for me because this really. I plan to finish this comic up until you can see here the first 3 panels where you have Princess, and you can see here the bottom panels where I'm just missing who is obviously Raven and Elf coming down behind her. That is what I plan to draw for today. And the bottom panel I can draw tomorrow.
All right. I will send it out to the audience. One last round of questions. And I'll obviously stall and wait for another minute or two for people to actually type in questions. The best way to ask us questions, apparently, is, and I'm sure O is just going to love this, is to go through the Google Plus section of this broadcast. Yes. Like if you go onto our YouTube page and it's showing there with that link, there's a little "Be a part of the conversation." Click join. Click to join the live Q&A on Google Hangouts, and you can click that. And this is just an unlinkable link, but then it gives you a nice little green button to say "Ask a new question," and it also will show what question is currently being answered.
Oh.
Like we finally got that to work correctly.
A little bit too late, but yeah, sure.
No, that was actually like 4 of the questions tonight.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because the readers are smarter than me.
A lot of people.
At least when it comes time to asking questions. Yes.
So, this is going to be a very interesting week for us.
Okay, why?
Because well, for those listening that are readers of our comic, you might know that Commissioned is colored by an intern that we have. And this week is that intern's final week with us. Mm-hmm. She finishes her internship this week, and we bring in a new intern. So there might be some, I mean, it's not going to change drastically, but from this week to next week, there might be some little bit of change, at least enough to make it noticeable in how the comic looks. Not enough to make it, because, you know, I'm still going to be drawing it, right. But now there's going to be a completely different person coloring it. So,
oh gosh, I can't remember. Did First Laura, did she ever do the inks for Adventures of Dwarf Elf and Were Tiger?
Inks or color?
Color.
No.
Okay, so this has been the only colorist so far.
Yeah.
Well, outside of you for some fill-in stuff.
Yeah. Well, actually, it works pretty nicely if you think about it, because if we divide the comic into a book each year, it's basically two colorists per book,
Hmm.
roughly around the middle of it. So I was actually thinking about this a lot, and the intern was asking me, like, how are you going to deal with that? And I said, I think the best is not to deal with it. Just not even try to hide the fact that somebody new is coloring it would probably be the best approach. Just,
Yeah.
like, it changes a bit. It's not going to be like a completely different comic, but it changes a bit, and it just has to.
I mean, they have a palette that they're working off of,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's gonna have the same colors, and
and it
the
still has to
same
meet
guy.
your approval.
Yeah, and the same guy is gonna be drawing it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's gonna have a new colorist, so that's gonna happen this week, and I think
Hmm.
that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I try not to make it interesting in my head because otherwise I'll start freaking out about it.
Well, good thing is you don't have to worry
Yeah,
about it.
not at all. Yep. I believe that's where I'm at with that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the guy that has to worry about it, but
Okay,
yes.
I think that's it for questions. We will probably have a Sketchcast next week.
Why,
Uh,
do you have some sort of convention or something?
I really don't want to talk.
Okay, okay.
Well, it depends on what time you want to do it.
Well, we don't have to talk to this live about this live
No,
yet.
well, eventually I have to tell you what the reason is anyway, and you could have your disappointment in me in public.
Oh,
Um, the San Francisco 49ers football team won today.
why do
So
I give a shit?
they're my favorite football team, and they're going to be playing at 6:30 p.m. on Sunday.
Is this like they're gonna be in your town and you want to go to the stadium,
No, they're going to
or?
be on television, and I intend on watching it. And
Oh.
I have not been a very calm fan of the Niners this season. I have been basically watching it with mixed rage and joy. And if we try to record at 8, I will be missing at least the last quarter of a very important football game to me. Potentially the second most important game of the year, given that the Niners now have a 50-50 shot of making the Super
Okay,
Bowl.
okay, okay. I'm just gonna stop you there. I really don't give a
I
crap.
know you don't care.
Like, so, people listening,
Wait. Would
wait
you be
until.
a? Well, we could yeah, because we could potentially move it earlier in the day, but O and I need to check our schedules, and also we need to find out if a guest would be willing to come on at like 1 o'clock on Sunday.
Yeah, so
So
so we'll definitely be letting everybody
yeah.
know.
Otherwise, if you live in the U.S., remember that Sunday is a very
It's
exciting
douchebag
day
day.
because Sherlock comes back
Oh,
Sunday
okay. Well, that
night.
is good. That is
Yes,
good. But yeah,
yes,
otherwise it's douchebag day for those of you that like the douchebag tradition.
yes. For my now currently arch nemesis, Beefy, I'll see you in hell, sir.
Yeah, that was obscure. So anyway, thanks everybody for listening.
I
I
think I should even try to get.
apologize.
You know what? I'm gonna ask Beefy to see if he wants to be on the show next week.
Is he an artist?
Yes, he is. He is a nerdcore rapper.
Is he a visual artist?
He is not a visual artist. This would be a vocal temporary guest.
Uh,
We'll see.
we'll talk
We
about
will
it.
definitely get a visual artist. Yes.
Okay, we'll talk about it. And I'm not sure I want any sport douchebaggery enemies of yours on the show on the day when this game is taking place.
What would be great is that if we actually instigate a ban on all sports talk and just have completely inexplicable vitriol between me and Beefy.
Well, there is a ban on sports talk.
Well, yeah, but there's a ban on baby talk, but you break that all the time, you baby lover.
Well, I break it to say how much I hate babies, just as I'm willing to talk about how I think that sports fans are douchebags, if you want me to talk about that for a while.
Anyhow, this has been the Sketchcast. If we don't make it back, send help, because we do have a very good show scheduled for January 26th, because that would be my birthday, and giant robots will be involved.